Literally cursed.
basis, which
It's
is
literally
y'all.
cursed.
So that's why I'm making this video. I'm also making it to try to steer people.
You realize there's this weird phenomenon where if you ask somebody if they are better than an average driver, 70% of people will say yes, they are better than the average driver. And then that you physically can't be, 70% of people can't be better than the average driver. Men are better drivers. That is a sexist and misogynist statement, my friend. Also, but I'm not stupid. People who win the lottery don't think they're stupid either. It's a fact. Nah, man, that's some Jordan Peterson speaking there. I don't appreciate that, mate. I don't appreciate that. It's completely not, mate. You are
Away from
literally
drugs,
spewing out Jordan
obviously,
Peterson.
I'm just a voice on your
That's what you're
phone or
doing there.
computer, so I don't have much influence.
The majority of
I'm
people
just gonna
think
talk
they're
about
good
my
drivers when they're
experience,
not.
and y'all are
The
gonna have
majority of
your own
people think when they win
experiences,
$1
and I
million,
understand
they'd
that.
spend it wisely, and
But
they
where do I
won't.
start,
That's
man?
just a
Drugs
fact.
are powerful, bro.
Statistically, you are not
It really influenced a
likely
lot of
to
my
spend the money
decisions
well.
in
In
my
fact, you're
recent
more
past.
likely to lose it than
Mostly
if
bad
anything.
decisions, but we're just gonna take this all the way back to the beginning, all right? So I started digging into this whole at around 13 years old. I believe I was in 8th grade. Might have been summer after 7th grade, but I was 13. And during this time in my life,
Shaming
I,
against
I was
playing
still
Warzone
fairly
today.
new to the area. My
I was
family
looking
had
forward to
just
getting the
moved
squad
across the
together.
country from Maryland to Kansas, and one thing worth mentioning is that I didn't fit in when I moved here, bro. Like it was real odd to me because I had a
Why the
solid group
best
of friends in
F1
Maryland,
drivers in
and
the
I was
world,
fitting
mostly
in just
men?
fine over there, but
The
it was the
patriarchy?
complete opposite starting out in Kansas. Also, another thing worth mentioning is that my parents divorced right after we moved as well,
That answer your
and I was
question?
convinced that it was my fault. So I was this preteen dealing with parents divorcing, thinking it was all my fault, not fitting in school, and I was also
Is
getting
this
roofed
guy's
over.
like
So I'm
whole
13.
video?
I
Is him
decided
talking over like gameplay? That's essentially my stream, man. What is this video? I don't know. It was recommended.
my YouTube Explorer. And a lot of you guys might know the name Tyson Nat. He's a live streamer. He's actually the #1 live streamer on Twitch, I believe. He's got crazy energy. He's just real energetic character like that. But he definitely had his moment back in like I believe 2019 when the bust down Tatiana shit was going around. I don't know if y'all remember.
Rip Blueface. Ain't he going to jail? Who's Blueface? I don't know who that is. Dancer Patrick, worst nut. That's the answer. So that's just one example of a female driving. That's not like look at how many men have fatal crashes. It's higher than women. If you look at statistics around crashing, women have more minor incidences. Men have more fatal incidences. This is a fact. You're pulling Blueface. It's a rapper. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, the one he is talking about. Yeah, you're looking at one girl, and I don't know.
That. And ever since that period of time, he has now gotten a new girlfriend.
Men want
I'm
to go
not-
fast. Essentially, yeah, gotta go fast. It's just how it is. Women go slow. I don't think it's necessarily. Oh, maybe it is. Well, men are more likely to participate in risk-taking behavior than women, so that makes sense. Men are more likely to speed than a woman is. But drawing an out, like how do you measure? Like this is a serious question. How do you measure how good of a driver someone is? How do you measure it? Doesn't mean they're better drivers. Not saying it does. I'm asking, how do you measure who is a better driver or not? How do you measure that? Tell me. What test do you have in them sit? What form of measurement are we using? The worst logo change ever. Oh my god, why does Pyrocynical keep coming? Never won a race in 7 years. She was a driver. She was a female driver. I agree. She was a female driver. I agree. 100%. She didn't win. How does that one example of a female driver in NASCAR represent all of females driving? How does that singular example apply to every woman ever to exist? It's an easy question. It's an easy question to ask and answer. How does that one singular example account for 2.5 billion women across the world? and I'm assuming that there's 4 or 5 billion people. My sister is a bad driver. Oh yeah, I have 5 sisters. They're all bad drivers. So all women are bad drivers. There you go. It's such a small sample size. My point is, we have no real way of measuring. We have statistics about like car crash and incidences, but they're not really ways of measuring if someone's a good or bad driver. Some accidents happen. That's why they're called accidents. Sometimes they're not even the fault of a person. They happen. Like you could literally be braking. You could literally have you could be sitting in your car completely parked legally and someone could rear end you and that counts as an accident. I have 3 sisters, 2 brothers. I have 5 sisters, 2 brothers. I am the 4th child, the middle one. But like that's my point. Better driver means good at driving. Okay? Doesn't mean you crash. That's where you're wrong. Okay, so what is a good driver? Define your terms. What does it mean to be good at driving? Define your terms. Sounds awful. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. But you get used to it. Define your terms. Define your terms and I'll define mine. What is a good driver? What does it mean to be good at driving? Does it mean have a license? If you have a license, are you a good driver? It's what are your terms? That's all I need. That's all I need to know, and we can have a discussion about it. I need to know what your terms are. Define your terms and we can have a discussion about it. But for the moment, you're just, this is the best one.
This 32-year-old guy wants to spend a...
My mum has never had an accident in her life. I have. Good enough. That's, like I said, that's just a sample size. Does that mean she's a better driver? No. And that's what I'm saying. All I need is all I need you to do is provide a definition of what you consider to be a good driver. And then we can talk about if women or men are better than driving than each other. We just need to establish what a better driver is or what a good driver is. That way we can talk about if they are better or not better. What I'm saying is everybody's drawing comparisons between incident rates and NASCAR. When I'm saying that's not really an accurate example of what a better driver is, because we haven't even established what a better driver is. We need a general definition of what better is. Men can excel at driving better than women? Possibly. Define better. Define better. F1, etc. F1, etc. what? You could argue, like, I'm playing devil's advocate here. You could argue that the F1 industry is biased towards hiring men. Race times? Okay. So, there's one woman in the F1, and she doesn't do too well, apparently. That she's not a representative of all women. In track times? Yeah, like I said, one woman isn't an accurate representation of all women. The only way to say for certain if one is better than the other is to have an accurate representation of all of them. It's not one woman. Well, how many women is it in comparison to men? What's the split size? And I think it's interesting as well that we're taking the top 1% of all drivers ever and making a comparison between all drivers ever. Formula One drivers are not accurate representations of the millions or billions of other people that are driving as well. They're two very different things. One is the top 1% of all, arguably all people, and the rest is the 99. How do we know that the 99 aren't better in the long run, or a greater percentage of that 99 are better than one? If we just look at the top 1%. We can't judge a whole 99% of people based on 1% of people. It doesn't work that way. That's when you talk about like sample size and stuff. You can say that like, the top 1% of the majority of men, sure, but that doesn't mean that the 99%, that the greater percentage of that 99% are not women. It just means that that top 1% are more likely to be men. Doesn't mean that the rest of 99%. Like if you took all the women on one side and all the men on the other, you take the average of that, you take the 1% of that, yeah, it's probably going to be mostly men. But there might be more women that are actually better at men. They're just not in that 1%. That's something to consider as well. Like I said, you can hyper-focus on a sample size and make an exaggerated explanation of that, or we need to define our terms, and then we can talk about majority or minority or which one's better than not. All I'm suggesting is that you're looking at the extreme 1%, and then that may not be representative of the 99% or how the 99%. I'm not even picking a side here. I'm just asking questions. I'm literally just asking questions. Anyway,
Sunday afternoon chilling with a 13-year-old girl.
I'm just asking questions, man. That's all I want to know. I'm just asking questions.
But Mike Manzi's date is about to go up in smoke. You'll be shocked when you hear what Manzi does for a living. He's a math tutor. You heard it right. He teaches some of New York and Connecticut's wealthiest children how to solve complicated equations. But you might say Manzi flunked basic arithmetic, because 32 plus 13 adds up to trouble. Online, he calls himself Mike Thrilla. He's a self-employed tutor with a bachelor's degree in math.